Hey everybody, welcome back to In Bed with the Millennial. I'm the Millennial, Janae Bay, and this is my bed. And it is our last Monday of Kinktober. Happy Halloween. And I know I've put you through a lot this month. You're like, Janae, I'm feeling a little raw, a little exposed. You know what I need? You know what you need? Aftercare. So that's what we're talking about today. Aftercare. Let's get into it. Okay, Janae, what is aftercare? Well, aftercare is essentially what its name says. It is the care that you provide to a partner after you all engage in kink and BDSM. And this looks a variety of different ways depending on the individuals, what y'all engaged in. Like there's a lot of things that go into it. But it is the act of really grounding someone after a kink and BDSM or generally any sexual experience. So aftercare is generally known as something that is used for kink and BDSM, and rightfully so. And it is also growing in mainstream recognition as something that is beneficial to all types of relationships, all types of sexual activity, and even emotional engagement, because aftercare grounds you. And so if it is a tumultuous, emotional, disagreement with a partner, using aftercare can really help to ground y'all and make it easier to work through that conflict. If it's just vanilla sex, aftercare is really good just because those happy endorphins just rush. So coming down off of them can hit a little hard. Aftercare can help with that hit. And especially with kink and BDSM, regardless of the activity you engaged in, it is crucial, extremely important. So a lot of different times that you would use aftercare, but I always recommend that you do your aftercare. Okay, Dre, I want to do my aftercare. How do I figure out what my aftercare should be? Well, firstly, take a look at what in your day-to-day life already grounds you. So you just had a stressful day at work. What are you going to do at home to come and decompress all of that and just really recenter yourself to progress with your day, your evening in a more pleasurable, smooth sailing way. If you're oh, I'm definitely gonna go grab my book and I'm gonna read a chapter, or I'm gonna go meditate, or I'm gonna go eat my Ben and Jerry's and be happy, or I'm gonna crack some wine, or I'm gonna smoke a joint, whatever it is, all of those are great entry points to aftercare. And they're great entry points to aftercare because you already know that they work in grounding you. In terms of what you can do or what your partner can do for you, if you are someone that desires more physical touch in terms of grounding, being cuddled by your partner, or just having them hug you, or if you're I don't want to be touched, but I do engaging with other individuals, just having a conversation. Y'all can just debrief about whatever just went on. Y'all can talk about something completely random. Y'all can decide that together. You should decide that together. But what's that conversation look like? Just have a conversation. It can also be centered around actual food comforting items. So it's you know what? I really just need my weighted blanket, and for you to put on my favorite jazz playlist on Spotify. Or it could be I really just need gentle, soft, caressing touches. All aftercare. In terms of actual kink and BDSM activity aftercare, after impact play, aftercare looks like massaging and cooling down the area. So being very gentle with your touches and caresses to really make it so that the sting is not but it's going away nicely. So specific kink and BDSM activities definitely do have some more traditional aftercare activities, but in general, you and your partner are gonna decide on them together, on what works for y'all, not on what everybody else is doing, because we're not all the same. And what grounds one person is not going to ground another person, okay? Someone coming up to me oh, Javay, take 10 deep breaths with me right now. That might not ground me. That might actually make me more anxious or more angry. But somebody coming up to be hey, Javay, I already have Kesha's Rainbow queued up. You want to listen? Yes, baby boo, that'll do it right there. Or in a better scenario, I already have Charmed loaded on the TV for you. Here you go. Aftercare. That's my aftercare. But yeah, it's dependent on you and your partner or partners. So don't think that it has to look one specific way. It doesn't. It shouldn't. Now, since we're talking about aftercare, I definitely should dispel some myths around it because there are quite a few swirling around. One of the major ones being that aftercare is only for subs, or the person that was on the receiving end of whatever y'all were engaging in. And that's not true. Everyone has a enhancement in experiences and feelings throughout kink and BDSM and all sexual interactions and emotional interactions. So everyone needs that regrounding, including doms, including tops, including your partner who started the argument with you. Everyone needs the aftercare. So everyone should get it, not just subs, not just the bottom. And of course, obviously, the common misconception that aftercare is only for kink and BDSM. As I've explained, it's for everything. And I especially think it's important in terms of like emotionally charged situations and relationships. It can make a world of a difference if you and your partner just had a really tough conversation, but y'all, like, obviously you want to like continue with this relationship and mend things and like get to a place where you can actually progress through the rest of the day or the evening. Aftercare can help that. Great example. Me and my husband are in couples therapy. Yeah, baby. I support it. I encourage everyone. If you want to strengthen your relationship, couples therapy is a great way to do it. But after we go to therapy, if we have a session that is just like really like charged or heated, or we both like get our emotions like going, once we get out of the office and we're back together just alone outside, the first thing we do is hug for 20 seconds. That is our post-therapy aftercare. One, because like they say that like hugging for 20 seconds like increases like your happiness throughout the day, but also like it is a directly intimate act with my husband to like really like push out everything else in between us to like bring that closeness together. At least like to me, for me, that is what it is. Like hugging each other is just like a very intentional, like, cool, yeah, all this stuff came up, and yes, it is real and it is a part of what we need to work through. And also, we still love each other. We still care for each other, and hugging each other is a way of expressing that to each other and taking care of each other. So aftercare, we also typically have dinner together. It makes a world of a difference. So aftercare is not just kink and BDSM. It should be used in so many different aspects of our lives, and not even just like romantic sexual relationships, but also like friendships. Like you got into a fight with your best friend, y'all need to have some aftercare about that. Like, is it y'all just cracking a bottle of wine and like watching Grey's Anatomy together? Who knows? But like, you can use aftercare in all relationships, not just kinky ones. And then again, as I said, that aftercare is supposed to look a certain way. That's not true. Aftercare is gonna look different based on who you are, what you actually need, because not everyone has the exact same needs. That's just a reality of being a human in this diverse world of humans. We all need different things. So recognizing that and respecting that, just because like you may have had a previous partner that their aftercare was getting them a glass of water, getting them a weighted blanket, and just like holding them while they're under their weighted blanket. That may not be what your new partner needs. Your new partner may be like, hey, I just need like 10 minutes by myself. Like after that, we can like debrief together. I can provide you with the aftercare you need if it needs to come directly from me. But like I need that immediately because I will be overstimulated if we try and do anything else. Respecting like, okay, that's you. We're all different people. I'm gonna respect the aftercare that you need and not try and put what I know somebody else needs on you. So don't do that. And then one of the most important things when it comes to aftercare is that it should be talked about beforehand. Aftercare should not be something that like after y'all have done a scene, you're like, okay, cool, what do you need right now? Because one, your headspace is probably not in a place to be like, oh, these are the things I need. Two, that's a part of the consent conversation in terms of negotiating a scene, is understanding what's going to happen in the after part of it. Because though the scene officially ended, the kinkiness of the relationship has not gone away. There are still other pieces that matter, aka aftercare. So talking about that during your consent conversation and negotiations is crucial. Also, it helps you to be prepared, because if someone's like, oh, my aftercare is like eating Outshine popsicles, you gonna need them popsicles. So talk about it beforehand, because it's gonna be real difficult if y'all just did a scene and it's 2 a.m. and your partner's like, oh, where are my popsicles? And you're like, oh crap, I don't know, I don't got none. And the grocery stores are closed. So talk about it beforehand. Also, so y'all just have a clear understanding of the expectations of each other after everything is said and done. And it's especially important to talk about it beforehand in terms of like emotional aftercare, in terms of like conflicts within your relationship, because it's real difficult if y'all are both heated to try and be like, okay, well, what do you need right now to like be more grounded? Like, you're not gonna want to have that conversation. But if y'all have talked about it before, when you were in a calm, like open, like just neutral setting with each other, y'all were just like already in a good mood, and you were like, hey, when we get into conflict, like what would help afterwards to really ground you again? You can actually hear them, listen to them, and like be like, okay, I'm cool. Write it down, put it in your notes in your phone, whatever you need to do to remember it, but like talk about it beforehand. It's not productive if you try and do it when you need it, you know? But But yeah, that is that. That's aftercare. I hope that you currently now feel very cared for after this nice month-long experience of Kinktober. And because I've offered you some nice aftercare of grounding you, you're ready for what's coming in November. When it comes to In Bed with a Millennial, because I'm excited for what's coming in November for In Bed with a Millennial. Because, as you know, I'm getting a PhD. So I also very much look at sexuality from like an academic standpoint, and a very like macro perspective. And we're gonna explore that. We're gonna look at sexuality through an academic lens all November. So get ready to go to school, because we're going. If I gotta do it, you gotta do it too. I'm taking you along for the ride. But yeah, make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel, because if you're not, that's rude. Make sure you're following my new TikTok account at Call Me Dr. Effin, and you're following me on Instagram, you're following me on Twitter, you are following me on Facebook, and definitely make sure you're signed up for my email newsletter, because you know that's an extremely important place that you want to be, because if I get booted off of platforms, that's the only place that I am going to exist. But yeah, until next time, I'm gonna see you later. Deuces.